Better be careful because BK be over your next. God dang. What are you gonna do if he wants to come up and challenge you, right? You gonna whip his ass?
Who, BK?
Yeah.
He ain't gonna challenge shit, Ernie.
Can you whip him?
Who can't, Ernie? You
I
know,
understand.
BK told me, he bragged and said that there ain't no man that's been in prison that ain't put a dick in his mouth, and I'm pretty sure BK's been in prison, right?
He said, dude, wait. Rewind. Rewind. Hold on a minute. She's laughing. Hold on. Hellfire, hold on a second. This is too much. Okay, go ahead. Start over. I gotta hear this.
BK told me that there ain't no man in prison that ain't never had a dick in his mouth, and I'm pretty sure BK's been in prison. So is he trying to say he sucks dick?
Didn't he get caught?
I'm pretty sure he did get caught.
Didn't he get Sparta? You need to do that. See, you can be like,
He asked me out on a date.
can you imagine when Lene kicked his ass? He said he was out there. She just said Sparta, bam, and she pictured the damn Sparta kick. That would have been awesome.
Did I tell you BK asked me out on a date?
No, he did not.
He texted me and said he's going to be in Tennessee on the 15th through the 21st, and that he wanted to go get hot wings and lemonade, and he still ain't in Tennessee. That's why I asked if you want to go have hot wings.
Motherfucker, you just invited me for hot wings and lemonade. You
I did it as a shot to BK.
You just shared a fucking date, dude. You just forwarded the son of a bitch to me. What did you do that for?
I did it because I know he's listening.
Oh, did you listen?
No, I'm sure he is. He follows me everywhere.
Jodisue said family garage dick. So, oh my God, Lord. So why is he on Jodisue now for? I thought everything was all cool and everything. I didn't know.
He's been on Jodisue for months, Ernie.
I don't watch BK, bro.
That's how he makes his money.
Off Jodisue?
Yeah.
Hold on a second, Rap. You're kidding me. Hold on a second.
Now he's making money off your Shelby letters, but
There's only like 5 or 6 of them that's worth a damn. I showed you that. Jodisue, if you want to come up, you can talk. I've never been on a panel with Jodisue.
I haven't either.
Have you ever been on a panel? You? I ain't.
No, but I did go to Summerwell's house, Ernie, and I don't think there's any way she was abducted from that property.
What do you think happened?
I'm not sure, Ernie. I don't know. But I mean, you can't even see up that driveway.
That driveway's rough.
Yeah, it is.
It's got places in it. It's hard, you know, if you didn't know how to drive a normal vehicle, it's hard to even get a normal vehicle up there.
Yeah, I was in the Jeep and we weren't even going to try it.
Yo.
Hey, Ernie.
Hey.
How are you?
Long time. How you been doing?
Alive and kicking.
As long as you're alive and kicking, that's the key thing. Kicking. Keep kicking because you're going to have to keep on kicking.
No.
So hey, Jodisue.
So why is he still on him for?
Ernie, he's always been on him because I refused to fucking talk to him or play with him since he came into the picture last year when we were all still living in Ben Hill. He can't get shit from me because he sucks and knows it, and you know the whole drill, Ernie. It's been a whole year plus of this shit.
Well, I mean, you know, at one time you guys was friends though.
No, and never.
What? Okay, I didn't know. I thought you was.
Never.
Okay, I didn't know. So was those fake messages and on Messenger and everything that came out? Was those fake?
Which ones?
The one that said like where BK was supposedly talking to you on Messenger or something like that. And
where he showed on his live that time months ago, they were the same ones shown on mine where he admitted to being the handoff between the PO box, like he had ordered the handoffs between the PO box and all that shit for summer.
So tell me about the handoff. What's the handoff? Tell me about that, because like I said, I never studied the case.
Oh, come on now, Ernie. With summer shit?
I never studied the case. Literally, I got it like literally when I found out that Candace had smiled and liked me and she like that. That's the only time I ever was even going in it and everything. Pretty much. I mean, we went to the tracks and shit, but other than that, I mean, I never really looked into it. It made me sick. The whole thing made me sick, Jody.
Come on.
It made me sick.
What did?
The whole thing, the way that it was spinning out of control. I just don't believe the timeline. I never have believed the timeline.
Well, there's a certain timeline there, for sure.
I mean, I never heard it. You know, I just only heard Don's version of the timeline, and like I said, that's it. That's all I know.
Everybody that day has their own times, right? But then they put those together. But then there's a certain timeline there that exists that we all know collectively it can't be. It's like, you know, between 320.
People was given too much time to come up with a timeline. That's what my problem is with it.
Mine was immediate. Like
I never heard yours. That's what I'm saying. I only know the one that was. There was so many damn timelines that was put out that was just ridiculous, and it did not make no sense at all. And some of the things that I was trying to understand.
There's a lot of shit that makes sense right up at all, Ernie. But you know, I'm like 100% positive, like almost that. You know, I mean, obviously, Summer, you know, came home because of the stuff at 3:20 that day. Because it would have to be at 3:20. They reached home. You know, around 4:30, 4:40, 4:45 that we hear the scream for, you know, because the message I think to Andy was at 4:52, and so I gave myself a few minutes, you know, because I've been back in there still ignoring him. And then, you know, I see Candace the first time after 6:09, right? And so, but Summer, they say the first call was into law enforcement, or what, 6:20 something, almost 6:30 that night.
See, the whole thing was the 4:30 issue I had. Like, why wait so long to call law enforcement? I mean, did you actually spend that much time looking for your kid when she was missing? That's what got me.
That's the thing, Ernie. She didn't, like, I didn't call because I didn't know, you know what I mean? That's, like, I don't know, when you hear something like that and you try to explain it away and you try to.
Well, how would you have known? I mean, did they come to you directly? See, I don't know the time. See, I don't know what. See, I'm taking it from a new person looking in. How would you have known? Did they run over you and tell you, run over to you where you're at and tell you automatically? Or
No, like, with me, I didn't put two and two together until, I start hearing them yell for Summer and they increase in, like, intensity, as I'm going down the driveway and things to stand and wait on Andy. And it's like, okay. And then my mind starts going, that fucking scream earlier, and I'm sitting there thinking, holy shit, that's been forever in between. If, because I automatically knew it wasn't the boys. I knew it was not the boys. It's not what that noise was. I tried so hard to dismiss it. I never thought of Summer because Summer was never that far away from the house.
so,
And so
let me ask you a question.
they only started looking for her at somewhere, right there around 4-6. But they.
BK's crying right now because you're over on my panel talking about this. Of course.
Oh, I've been listening for a few days, hoping Tragedy Pit will bring back out.
Damn. So let me ask you a question because I didn't know the clothes that she went missing in. I've always had a problem with that because didn't they dress her in her brother's clothes during the last few days?
No, I mean, she always kind of just wore whatever, like tomboy stuff, whatever she wanted to wear. But the day she vanished, they put her in what was new school clothes in the back after she leaves the lake, supposedly. And then somehow that changes in between, them getting home and her vanishing. And then there was a couple outfits sold, of course, even to us in there.
So this creek that supposedly that it was at or something before, where exactly in position location is this place? This creek here. Where's that at?
It's right there. You can see it from the road, Ernie.
So it's the one that's down below there. Is that it?
It's just right there. You've been on Ben Hill, right?
I have delivered pizza.
I know you have when you took the pizza. Do you know the little tile bridge that you cross over? The tile goes under the roadway right there. It's a little curve.
Oh yeah, but that whole hill, the way it goes up and goes around, and it goes up like way up top, and it's like just like sitting on a damn hill, and everything else is under it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like I don't even know. I mean, you could put a fortress under that damn hill.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like you enter the roadway, you can see Kansas's Hill and our X Hill or whatnot. But there's sentinels kind of the whole road. But yeah, that creek is the main creek, and it runs through Beach Creek. But
Right.
it was
Okay. I know what you're doing.
and the only reason there was water over on the side of Kansas's, to go around was because the tree cutters and brush cutters had dammed it up. It had rained just like what 24, 36 hours before, and but the right side of that, if you're going out of the roadway, it was dry because that's what.
So I had another question to ask you. The prized possession that DK has, the shoe, how did that come about? How did he get that?
It was up there, just in the yard and whatnot. But honestly, there's some shit behind that I don't fucking like. And I find really big problems with that and other things. But from my understanding, like the pillow was given away that she supposedly sent there, but you don't see the pictures. And then that shoe, one of them found a yard. It's actually on live somewhere. I want to say that Cam and them actually found it. One of them did when they were with 423 chasing all in last fall. And they were like, "Oh, can we have this?" And I guess they let them have it, or they just took it. I don't fucking know.
I just find a lot funny with BK in person and all that too as well. Every time it was mentioned, he was there. He done the thing that the TBI had contacted me about and talked about where he said that I just had a vacation in Smoky Mountain, and then he turns around and his channel's gone and all that done. That really draw my attention into that because
The channel disappeared about the time that he doxed us, and people, I think, reported him the first time he came here that fall, and he got the shoe and all that shit, right? He
so,
went
so, so let me ask you. So when was the first time that you know that he was actually up there? The first time?
before, look, around the Dr. Phil episode coming out, because I know he was behind the call and bullshit, at least some of it.
Yeah.
The TBI falsely coming here because of him twisting, and that last call, really, that I had with last video chat I had at length with Candace, that and that was right before Dr. Phil was coming out with false call to TBI. Been made, the weird shit went on, and Candace is, I mean, she's always hated BK, despised his ass just like she did Cher. And then somehow they weasel in, and I get this laugh that on the bed chat. I mentioned BK, and all this like he's still around, and she makes us laugh, and I'm like, oh fuck, she's now with the BK thing, and that was not a good sign, and there's other things there, but you know.
Jody, you had reached out to me back earlier, and we didn't get to talk. I remember something about that. I think it was in chat, wasn't it, or something like that. So we need to talk, and we do need to talk. I want to talk to you about something, not on the internet, not just nothing, just something. You have the same kind of well, how did I say it? Thing I have about the shoe thing and the sickness with that. I believe that because something really, really toiled with my mind on that, and
Well, Ernie, you gotta think like way back during like the fundraiser, right? That they had the first one before they tried to let off the second one, and I screwed that up for them too. They were already sending me stuff on you and trying to say that you had taken Summer and all this other stuff, and I looked into it, and I think you had sent paperwork in on the fundraiser uh to somebody, and I looked up your Facebook pages, but they were sending me pictures of your family's houses, all these other things, and then it began to where they were sending us pictures and inboxes. That's where they were saying they'd watched Candace and Dawn drop off, Summer's this or whatever that, and that it was evidence. And one of them they dropped off.
Jody, they named my name because Don Wells was scared to death of me.
I don't know what it was, but it wasn't really. The thing was, is like they were trying to have people call in. What amounted to them, it was fake stuff they're putting around places saying Candace and Dawn had been seen dropping it off, but then there was a jacket that really did look like Summer's that they put in a creek behind a hotel, and they said and all this other shit, and they were trying to get us all to call in, and it really worried me like they were trying to set up shit or something, you know. It was, it's been so many levels of foul and fucked up since YouTube got involved, Ernie.
I understand that.
And it's worrisome because some of it does lead back to even locals who, for some reason, were watching Ben Hill and all of us before even Summer fucking vanished, and I don't understand that. And they had the first ideas for the marathons, and
You see, that's what I think. That whole deal there. I know. I talked to people who've partied up there with Don, Candace, and what they done. Other than that, outside of it, and you probably know what went on up there as well. I mean, you knew the people, I guess. Don, we had him on an interview. And he talked about she's worth a lot of gold. That right there sticks in my head so much. Or she was worth a lot of gold. Is that what he said? You don't say was. You don't say that.
he's spoken about Summer in past tense since before dark, and not she vanished. I don't really necessarily, like Megan Boswell on it, right? I knew immediately where she used certain language, like, oh, that bitch is guilty, but with Dawn and them, I think it's more base, plus he's his own, type of, obviously he's a predator. I can't say he's not. He's his own monster. I've heard him abuse everybody over there. Dawn knows that I know this, just like he knows that Andy's an abuser, and y'all have heard him say that. He's heard Andy beating on us and the kids crying, and honestly, the violence on our hill was far more and worse than what was over on theirs. But the thing is I've also had Don turn to me and admit to doing that to at least one of his sisters. And I told him, so I know, but what you have there is somebody that's very base, in tune with other monster type things, and he knows it's just, he knows that nobody's taking Summer for Disneyland. And I think that at first it was a lot easier maybe for them to deal with Idea or Dawn. And that could be me just trying to excuse it and still, because I don't know who's guilty, I don't know who's done, I don't know who's responsible, and none of us will until FBI, TBI arrests somebody, right? But I don't on anybody, but Dawn and them have used past tense with Summer before dark, even that night. And then they started after a couple of weeks going, okay, and they were using present tense language, which to me, I think means that.
Well, the cocaine crack and the hotel shit didn't sit well to me either. With what he had main reference to about, she's probably in some hotel, and for him to even know about transitions into that sucks.
That's still Predator, and honestly, that goes into stuff I don't really try to touch on too often. But obviously, like I could tell when John would actually be on his runoffs, because that'd be the rare nights I'd hear him leave the driveway, hear the rocks as I was, awake. I could hear, throughout the years, I'd be like, oh, well, there goes Don. He's on a runoff again. So for the next 3 days or so, I knew I'd check on Candace or do whatever, because he'd got him a little bit.
Well, Rap's got a question he's going to ask you.
Yeah, I just want to know. Can you hear me, Jodisue?
I can.
I just want to know how you feel about Ronnie Lawson's son.
I mean, that's what do you mean exactly, precisely? What
Like
I think
everything that's happened recently.
I think his son's done what his son's done. I don't like it. Do I feel like that is a really light sentence and really fucked up? Absolutely. Do I like even Big Lawson? No, absolutely don't. I've made that pretty fucking clear. However, I don't think all the conspiracy theories around all of it, I don't think any of that should exist, and I don't think people should be doing what they're doing, which is trying to out the victim or the age or any of that. I don't think that's right. I don't think them digging on Ronnie Lawson's family, all the people around him, their community, their church members, and all that's right either.
Do you think his son should be protected?
From what? No, I mean, I think that that's a little honestly too loud of a sentence. But once again, unless all of us know the case details, or I mean,
What was the sentence? What was the sentence? I've seen it, but I didn't know what the sentence was. What is the sentence exactly?
it's the 20 years, but only supposed to serve one.
He only serves 1 year of 20 years, Ernie.
That's a lot of sentence, bro, for that.
Yeah, and they won't say anything about what happened.
Well,
There's whispers coming out, and that's where the digging's coming from. Other people are trying to get to the victim. They're already trying to out stuff, and you don't want to do that to a victim. They've already been through enough. And this place is going to protect anybody that's gone through that, no matter what the circumstances are. And also, it doesn't mean Big Lawson or his son's family or anybody else. I mean, they aren't, you know, they aren't Brandon. They're, you know what I mean? The people
right, I understand what you're saying, but
to be punished, tormented, or their lives further destroyed. Because you got to think, not only is the victim / survivor, lived through this, the family, they lose. It's a lose-lose. I mean, you've got a family dealing with, okay, well, here's this person we know and love that's capable of this.
This came from the feds when I talked to the feds, because I got interviewed about this bullshit when Candace was saying that Predator Hunter Nation took. You remember that shit, right?
Oh,
You remember when
God.
it was going on, and it was like he's gone, he's been taken, and all that. Well, I've been interviewed by the FBI a couple of different times over this.
All about the sisters and screaming. I was in
Yeah,
there.
and they mentioned my name on the Capitol, all that bullshit. Anyways, I got brought back into this shit. I got brought back into it, and one
Well,
of the
you
feds.
did part in the actual whole thing at the Capitol, right? Though
What's that?
you were there when the Capitol thing happened, though, correct?
I was at January 6th. Yes.
Okay.
Now, the thing about when they brought it over to it and everything, well, the FBI's question, and this is exactly, as I talked to FBI, I'm not gonna say the other Fed group because it's neither here nor there, but
Yeah.
they told me, they said local law enforcement should have done more. It's more in their hands. It calls the feds in. They call the feds in. It ain't the damn feds jump on something. Local calls and asks for assistance to the feds.
It's
Now,
when they put out because when Summer vanished, we had locals come in, surrounding agencies. We had Tennessee Highway Patrol and all them coming in interviewing first, and then they all determined by all of our statements and everything at night. And around midnight, they put out the Amber Alert, right? And then that automatically triggers the feds. Okay. And then they come in, and what happens is they had just let us out of the road for a few minutes to finally go get the kids and everything, something to eat. We were all starving, we were hungry, been out searching, And that was what we were doing that even when I went down the
so
hill.
was there a sin? So you was there, obviously. Was there a sin that was picked up, or is that fake?
Yeah. No, there was many scents and many places picked up, and over different day, all kinds of things. And there's a lot of that I don't want to quite touch on, or in places and certain things. But yeah, there was scent.
Can I ask you a question? When Candace agreed for me to be able to take a team and search that property around that area, and she seen that we had 500 right off the bat, I had 2 choppers ready off the bat, everything. And then all of a sudden she changes, and then she says you can't search the woods.
Well, she don't really. That's the thing, Ernie. They don't actually have really anything to search.
I know that. I know that. I know that. I've been there. And I looked. I took a flashlight. I looked. But there's no way in hell a little 5-year-old girl would just wandered off in that area. It's too rugged, and the terrain is not for a 5-year-old. It would be hard as hell to get through that.
Ernie, Summer did not just wander off into those fucking woods, never to be seen again. I promise you that.
I know.
I'm telling you, she didn't.
I know.
She didn't leave the house and wander off into the fucking woods, and I don't think anybody I've heard believes that or thinks that. Not without assistance, would Summer have ended up so far away or in the woods that nobody ever,
Bingo. And you just said it, the assistance of someone. That's exactly right. When I talked to Don Wells, and Don Wells said to that dirty bastard predator that came through our basement door, you see, that changed the whole fucking timeline, the whole game plan and everything done. Then he stopped because he knew he got caught. Open-ended question caught him with that. He knew then, I knew that the whole bullshit that was even said was false. I knew that.
Look, I'll tell you, I don't think anybody came into the house and got her out. Like, I know that kind of to be false. Nobody came into the house and got her.
Okay.
But here's the thing, Aaron. If you pull up to that basement door, even in the full-size Dodge truck Andy had, you really couldn't tell it downstairs. You couldn't even really kind of hear it at Grandis's camper. It's just the way, the insulation, the layout, this and other. You could pull to the top of the house, all the way up and around, to the little porch area and all that, and the glass door and all that, and they can hear you and whatever. But any other time you could pull up right to the basement door, and they wouldn't be able to tell you there, hear you even in loud ass Dodge Ram Bandies and stuff like that. I mean, it's just something, and you'll hear Dawn say that on.
Now you're talking about inside the bottom of it. You're talking about when you're inside the basement right there. You can't hear outside, right?
Right, but even upstairs they wouldn't really hear it either, unless you went all the way up around the turnaround into the front door.
Because the hills caress and hide the noise. I know how that is. We had a Hummer up in there. We had a Hummer. We put a Hummer there, but when I walked down, I seen how it was. A train was.
It is possible that a car pulled up right there, and then where her swing is, right? And it's possible somebody just snatched her that quick. But there's also a million different things that are possible. But
So it's a swing. So I've been up there. I've seen it myself. I know where all these positions is at and everything. I know right there in the bottom of the house there, where it comes out, the door and all that shit right there, where that is. It goes up, goes around, goes on over to where the front of the porch and all that, with the little dogs and shit. I know where all that's at. I know how the terrain dips in, dips out, dips back up, goes around, and it's got like a little cliff edge there. You know what I'm talking about on the side, right? You go over the hill there.
Yeah.
So if a truck pulls up to the bottom and right after the door, you can't hear from the top part of it because the elevation is lower. That's what you're saying.
And they can hear if they're in the basement, because that's where they stay like at night, stuff like that, they can't hear you. And then if they're in the top level, they can't hear you. It's just something about the way it is. If you're parked right there in front of the basement, they can't hear you. Don't even know you're fucking there. Even in full size, big ass engines like the Dodge and things, I mean, they couldn't hear it unless you made the pull around all the way to the front.
So are you saying that your theory is that it was a handoff, maybe?
I don't have really any theories, Ernie. I have puzzles and pieces, and I work, and every day I wonder, and all the little things I hold, found, listened, all these things, and all the statements, and all the things from all the others in person, and just everything. Every day I work through them, and
Let me ask you a question. When this first happened, did you change your story in it at all?
Mm-mm.
You never changed your story at all.
Nope.
And maybe think about something and add something to it later on.
All the things like they
I
told
mean,
me.
you had to, obviously, you had to. Because when you start thinking, when you first come out, your natural brain thought is going to think of whatever's natural to you, whatever was immediate.
Right. The first couple cops, they get certain things, and the next two, and then TBI does and all this, and eventually it's like, there's things they tell you to wait on that'll solidify things
Well,
like
the story gets repetitious.
that. Yeah, well,
It has to. It has to. You've been asked 100 times.
it's like at a certain point. I know what I hear that, and it's like at a 5:30 point. I'm turned around and facing the electrical box in the cabin. I've got my shirt off, putting another one on, getting ready, etc.
So here, let me ask you a question. And I know you've probably never been asked this question. What was you doing before that?
What?
You
Before
said you
what?
put the shirt on, taking the shirt off, right? Something like that.
Oh, yeah,
Was
but
it hot?
before that,
Was it just because it was hot or something? You was just changing clothes?
no, I was getting ready because, like, after we hear the scream, we go out and look for all that stuff. We come back in. And the kids, they went to the main. I stayed in the cabin. I started getting ready because, as you can see by the text messages I released it publicly or whatever, trying to meet Andy when he gets off and gets back to the house to pick me up so we can go out. So I'm starting to get ready. But at that point, I thought he was going to be on time, right?
But he wasn't on time.
He wasn't. He let me know he wasn't going to be shortly after that, but I was already getting ready at that point for what I assumed at those minutes was him, getting off and going to be on time. But he wasn't. Just a few minutes later, he let me know he wasn't, and whatever. But so prior to that,
What was Candace doing at this time? And Don was supposedly at work, right?
Yeah.
Do you think Don was at work?
Now around 5:30, when I'm putting on shirt and stuff, I hear like a car hit the driveway over there. But it took a little. I was like, man, what the fuck, And after I heard the thing, and I knew it was like, yeah, that's what the fuck. But none of it makes sense with everything else. So it's like I always like doubted myself. It was like, no, I know. And that day I didn't. It was like almost my brain didn't want to catalog because it was such a normal noise at 5:32, and it was like, man, something's, But all these things come together, and you realize, well, you're like, why the fuck were the cars going up and down over there at 5:30 and all this other shit? And
So there was cars, more than one.
there was something. I didn't hear it come down, but I did hear it hit back up. But I know that it was one of the two heavier vehicles over there. So I
Okay.
know Candace or Grandis, one of the heavier ones, coming back up into the, driveway at 110. And then at, around 6 is when the calls for summer start, where they're yelling for and things outside. And
So let me tell you what I did. Nobody knows about this. We took a vehicle right there in the middle part of the road there, being hill of the road. When you get right up top of the hill there. And then we took something coming out of the holler there, just to see if we could verify noise. See if we could hear. Just to see if we could hear. And you can hear it. You can hear it.
Talking about the road.
From the driveway. You can hear from the driveway. You can hear something coming up the road.
In her driveway or ours at 125?
And at her driveway on top of the hill there. Just to make sure you can hear it coming up the hill. You can hear the rock spot. You know what a rock spot is. The rock spot. Anyways, you can hear the rocks kicking. You can hear that. Because you have to be able to hear that in order, because the road is so tore up and destroyed that you have to get up on the gas if you've got a regular vehicle to get up that son of a bitch, right?
Well, no, it depends on if you know how to fucking drive around. It's like you've seen my right?
Exactly.
I could get my Kia Soul up that son of a bitch, but they could get full drive.
But when you throw it down in gear, you throw it in bulldog mode. You throw it in lower gear, right? And it goes up easier, right?
Their cars make different noises, and as long as they're not driving, you barely hear them.
But it goes into what we call bulldog gear. It goes up the road. You hear the rocks splattering as it's climbing. You hear, and you can hear the rocking of it.
Well, I mean, like, not with all the cars and not the way we drive. It's like you could hear, like, say the red Subaru, right? They have. It would do this certain type of thing as it kicked over and picked up, right?
Because
And then
the front wheel drive will do different than a rear wheel drive will. Yeah, you'll hear that. All cars that goes up that way. Go ahead.
But they kick in, the traction kicks in. It does a different thing. Don, you can always tell it's him in the white truck because of the way he has to do a little pickup and go, but the gravels aren't too bad. The two heavier ones, they do different things. One will grab differently, and I know the amount the amount of times like the tire spins, before it picks up traction and goes as gears shift, and different things with each of the cars. We all know each other's vehicle sounds and things. Like I know, the other ones beside of them that are connected to their property, and their door slams and the work vehicles and all these other things. It just depends. But we don't have to dog the shit out of those driveways like most people do or think they have to. It's like I could get my straight drive Kia Soul up that, and I know the public, I've seen it the driveway, but thing is, I could get it up there just fine with ruts that would eat most trucks, and I could, get it around them and everything else. But they couldn't get four-wheel drives or anything else up it. And,
Well, like you said, it just depends on how you drive.
how you drive, what what you're doing, whatever.
So who was driving these vehicles?
Which
The vehicles that you're talking about, referring to if they're down the highway.
Like up Kansas's driveway. I don't. The one I heard at 5:30. I don't know who was behind it.
Well, what about the other one? What about the other one who drove?
The one with the flash going up the driveway that day as well. I don't know who the fuck, or what the fuck that was. And then, but at like after 6:09, it was Candace driving, vehicle. But
when's the first time you seen Don that day?
I seen him when he came down the main road, and Candace and everybody still at the end, etc. Ben Hill, all the neighborhood was coming in to try to help the. We'd already searched on the other neighbor. I mean, but the others were coming in, floating in to help, and Don and Andy right about the same time. Andy's already talked to Candace. Don comes in just a minute or two later.
So Candace let Don or Andy know that Summer was missing, right?
Yeah, Andy stops the car. I can see him right there, right at the.
Okay, so she stops the car. So this ain't a conversation through text or phone. She actually physically stops the car and she starts talking to him.
The car be parked there. She's
right, okay. How far along was Don? Was he before Andy or after Andy that he came up?
He was after Andy, and it was just like a couple minutes,
Right. So how was Don's expression? How was Don's?
I don't know.
Look.
I still hadn't, like, I could see the boys, and so I was still scared when I seen Andy start to talk to Candace, and I could hear him talking. I knew she'd kind of let him know because I could hear parts of the conversation done that way. But then he was coming on down Beach Creek Main Road, and I went back to the end of the guardrail, just flagged him down, letting him know I was out there. He seen me, he stopped, and I told him, I was like, Summer's missing. He's like, I know. I was like, well, I thought that's what, you were stopping there for, but I just want to make sure, and I'm right here. And then he drove on down the road looking for this and the other, but in the meantime, I and the other neighbor, we made our way towards, where the boys were and where they'd made it to looking for Summer. And I talked to the boys, and we made our way back through the middle of the cleared field out between Kansas Hill and Main Road, and met other neighbors. I explained to them what Summer looked like, told them what we'd already searched and done. Obviously they knew there was everything kind of been covered by that point just by two of us, but worth other eyeballs and everything. So they were searching and helping and starting to flow in. But then,
so let me ask you a question. When's the first time you met Benny Keys?
Met him?
Yeah.
I've never met Benny Keys.
You've never physically met Benny Keys?
Nope.
Okay, that's something I needed to know there, because I'd always heard that you met when he came up. I didn't know. So you just seen him, right? Did you just see him or something, or was you just in and out and seen him, or just?
I seen him come by here doing shit when he was visiting Kansas on the past couple. When he was here for the vigil in June this year, with the 1 year, and then or no, he wasn't, not this one.
So you do know that there was the messages I was referring to earlier when I first mentioned that to you, that there was a message that was talking about something about laundering money or something like that. Something about I've got too much, I've got to get rid of some of this money, and it was supposed to be to you. You heard anything like that?
You the fuck out of me?
Yeah, it was between you and BK.
The fuck?
I remember I showed it on the one of the live things and everything it was said.
There was nothing like that ever fucking sent between me and Keys like that ever.
Okay, so I didn't know, because I've got a message. I just want to know if it's real or not. That's why I'm trying to verify the validity of it. If it's real, I've got something that's like a message. I have to go back and look at it and find it, but I've got one that somebody sent. There was a screenshot. Supposedly one of you guys had taken. It was when BK was grabbing money for Cash App for Candace or something like that, and this happened to be on one of the screenshots.
I don't know what that is.
That's why when I wanted to talk to you back then. I mean, this is like way back then.
Okay, I've shown mine and BK's like entire conversation online, right? I've shown it, and then he went around at one point trying to like refute it by like blocking out certain things he said that I'd already shown. But he literally admitted to being the one that told Chase to have handoffs between Gemini Hippie or whatever and Ginger Snap. And before it got to Chase, they were supposed to be checking the P.O. box because Benny said so, and then Chase was supposed to get it to the end. But he took credit for that and admitted to it to me in Messenger. But Other than that, no, you know.
Okay, I just asking. I didn't know. I mean, I've got thousands. I mean, like literally thousands on this thing, and it's just screenshots. It's a lot of screenshots and stuff. But to
I
be
mean,
honest with you, I have never.
more I've ever like spoken to BK, like I won't even cooperate with BK this far. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
so far,
right.
I've asked more questions in a legitimate manner than BK ever has or will ever get.
So, okay, so now, like I said, I never studied the case. I've seen things on the true crime community things. A lot have come up about children being sedated. A lot of things that come up with that, and a lot of things with that. I don't know much about it, but I mean,
You're talking about the FAAFO video that came out after him and TM started targeting me after twisting my fucking words.
so, and then what happened? So Benny just twisted your words around to get his narrative out of it, right? To get his agenda.
TM and the rest of this group did, but they're all together. I mean, you know how this fucking works.
Well, I know exactly how it works. You know I do. But see, but see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I knew I was. I can't really say online because it makes me even more sick to even think about it, and I don't like going back to that thought about the players of the Summer Wells case. I don't even like looking at talking about it because it is what it is because it's evil. It's very sick. It's very evil. I told you, or I not told you, but I told people what I thought exactly my opinion of it was. I seen it. I believe exactly what I still stand by that. I stand. Hold on one second. I still stand by that. I stand by that it was child trafficking.
I don't know what it was.
That's what it was, Jodisue.
Well, when there's proof or something, there's answers, the puzzles come together, the TBI, FBI, somebody lets them fucking know, and somebody gets arrested, then I guess we'll all know, right? Until then, all we can keep doing is trying to help find the little pieces. And
So the little pieces, I don't think there's little pieces left. I think the main piece, the only piece left is Summer Wells. So let me ask you a question. The little bit of woods that is behind the house there and outside of the house around the area there.
there's really a wooded area that's left right there belongs to other neighbors on their property.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. It goes up and around. It's thicketed up and all that. Have you, Candace, you ever seen Candace in there? Anywhere around there?
In the woods?
Yeah, in the woods, anything, going in the woods. Is she a wood person? I know she's a fishing person,
No.
but is she a wood person?
No.
Okay. You see, she was scared to death of those woods for some reason. I thought she was playing the game on that. I didn't know.
Well, she is not a wood person. She doesn't really. She's
Right.
scared of snakes. She's honestly scared of it. She doesn't know what the shit is. She
That,
always called me with what's this snake? What's that? And should I kill this? And what the fuck's this? And the kids were also, except for the boys, I mean, but they were all kind of like, you know, but they did. I mean, they gravitate like children do towards more.
right, right. You know, little boys. Yeah, they do. They do. So let me ask you a question. During this time, I've heard this timeline and this barrel. Remember the barrel, the one where Summer's in the.
Barrel came from Madison Parkway and already had that shit spray painted on it because it was the last one out of a bundle of red barrels that the guy has for sale. I can show you the house it came from. I know where that barrel came from, but it was the one he had it spray painted on to sell the rest of the fucking barrels. So he had to keep going out there and putting up a damn sign.
So that was just a coincidence that it just said for sale on it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So even if it was a coincidence.
The barrels is on all of our ways home. Dawn would have seen it. Plus, we all have barrels and shit. We burn in them. We collect rainwater, put liners in them. We do all kinds of things with them.
Right, right. Okay, okay. I know the kind. I know the kind. You get the fresh rainwater out of it. I know you put the liner in it and you drain from that. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Hell, I live about that shit.
Liner in it. But yeah, I mean, it was nothing first but the fucking barrel.
No, okay, okay.
Wrestling.
So, do you know exactly when that photo was taken?
It was a video of Summer dancing.
And it was screenshotted off the video, right?
Well, they have a still picture of it, but I think the video was not taken, but a few days before Summer vanished.
Whoa, a few days, 2 days before, probably, right?
A few days, I don't know. I know
Dudley was over there when the photo was taken, the video. Dudley was there, right?
yeah, there's yellow upstairs in the background, I believe.
Okay, okay, okay. That's what I thought.
So,
so it did rain 2 days prior. I think it was 2 days prior because I said something about the rain. Somebody said, no, it did not rain. Yes, it did rain.
It did too fucking rain down there. It did too, and it helped wash away bear prints and stuff. It absolutely did fucking rain. That's why there was enough water collected on the left side of the creek. It absolutely did fucking rain. Not long.
Because when it rains, it helps build that creek up that you supposedly went to, right?
And all that stuff.
Exactly, exactly.
But it was stagnant. When I walked through it, there was parts of it that had, you know, even though it risen, it had enough time to settle again. And so all the stagnation did, where they dammed it up, it was still stuck in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was walking through all this, it was stagnant, had, you know, growth on top of it.
So is it true that CPS was supposed to visit 2 days after the Summer went missing, and they knew that. They knew that prior.
The next day or something is what the rumor is. But all I'm going to say is that CPS was already around, already involved, because during the land sale stuff, Candace would be messaging me going, is that, you know, this, or who the fuck are these people parked down there? I'd message her. I'm like, is that DCS, or is this, who the fuck is down here at the bottom, you know? And that's when we figured out the whole land, you know, all this stuff for weeks prior to Summer vanishing. DCS was already involved for weeks.
Did Don ever make visits to these little hotels? They call them open in-house hotels, and have sexual affairs with other victims.
You know, I don't know the term other victims, like, he's maybe
When I say hotel, when I say these open-end hotels and extended stay hotels, like a lot of child predators and child traffickers like to use.
I just know he got a knocks on other places on his benders here and there, and I don't know what kind of hotels he stayed at. I don't know, and other things are just, on films, but I mean, I don't know. Hell, letting him anything his Don didn't have to do it. Hell, he would cheat out in the open anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean,
And do weird shit. Hell, he do it right there at the house with cameras in the fucking house. So,
and the kids also.
hmm
The kids also, right?
yeah.
So that's. Let me ask you a question. Did Summer really ever have a chance?
Yeah. And I really, honestly, same thing I told law enforcement, because they asked. Had it been 2 years prior to this, I would have told you no. But I really thought things were getting better. But then as it comes into view and everything kind of becomes clear to you and you stop and think, the changes that were taking place that we were seeing that we thought meant things were getting better. Actually, like, I think it's semi-correlated with Grandis being there. Like, things were a lot calmer in ways if Grandis was there, I guess. And also, there's all kinds of things there that are just off-bounds and topics for me. But there's definitely less of the there's definitely less of a whole lot of things when Grandis was present. And so I think Grandis was actually the change, but I wrongly attribute it to Summer getting bigger and wrapping Dawn around her finger, because I promise you she did have Dawn wrapped around her little finger, and wherever Dawn was, Summer was. And he very much paid attention to her, doted over her, and she was not happy unless she was Dawn. And oh, it's just.
Let me ask you a question. So, do you believe that what came out about when Don would take showers with Summer?
Yeah. And because I've said it, and so have others. We don't, like, I didn't know about it until right before she vanished. Like, I never asked him.
When you say right before she vanished, um, vanished. Vanished is a term that someone just vanishes in thin air. That's not
Well,
the case with Summer Wells, though.
answers, that's all you can really say. She's gone. Somebody was responsible for it. But she's been taken. Somebody is responsible for this because she didn't walk off into the goddamn woods like Winnie the Pooh. All right. Somebody is responsible for this. But until we know who and how,
So,
what do you really call it? And,
when did you find out that he did take showers?
I mean, like, just, right before she vanished. But the thing is like, well, you excuse it because they're a little bit more base, they're a little bit more heel type, and you think, oh, well, whatever. But then you're also like, a little old for that, but okay. And I'll leave it.
So in your mind and in your heart, you thought it was wrong. It's wrong, right? I mean, you obviously like had to second guess, like, oh, well, some parents are different the way they raise their kids and all that. But a grown man taking a shower with a child is definitely wrong.
Well, their dynamics were a little different over, so it was more like
Exactly.
It's not something I would approve of personally, but they're
because it's natural. It's natural to them. It's natural to all predators to do that. You know that, right?
well, not really. I don't know, Ernie, and just because they're. That's the thing. You don't want to project. You don't want to say, "Well, somebody's guilty," because this isn't something I do.
I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm simply calling him a predator.
Well, he's obviously a predator of some variety. I mean, we know, by his own admission to me, he's done that to at least one of his sisters.
At least one of his sisters. I mean, yeah, he's admitted that. He admitted that.
Some of his other habits, especially when intoxicated, are like, cringe. He's obviously an abuser, just like he knows Monster is an abuser. They're both like that. Therefore, they're both predators. Both like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, so when you refer to monsters, are you referring to some particular person as a predator too?
Our particular abuser, I just rather not use their name. But you get what I'm saying? Like, there's all kinds of predators, you know what I'm saying? And I understand he's done it to his sister by his own admission. I understand that, all these things about him, that those things are true, but that doesn't mean that he did something to Summer. It doesn't.
But what's the coincidences of that?
I don't know.
I mean, would you say that it was slim? I mean, if you have someone, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot or nothing like that, but just hear me out here. If you have someone who sexually abuses this one, he sexually abuses his sister, he's done all this other stuff, he's a predator, and he, his actions speak.
Are you trying to accuse him of doing something to Summer or of being responsible for June 15th and her vanishing?
I just have a problem with the June 15th.
Okay, well, if
the timeline. I mean, yours fits better than what I've heard. I'll be honest with you. Your timeline does fit better than what I've heard. I've heard 17 different timelines. And that's one thing that threw me plumb off. I was like, and this is exactly what I said, when the main eyewitnesses, the people, the eyewitnesses, and the suspects are one and the same, there is no leads. That's criminology. That's criminology. That's prison tactics. That's jail tactics. Everybody knows that when you have a suspect and you have a witness, and if they're the same people, there's no leads. It's called a what? Dead end. That's what this was all set up to be anyways. I think it was premeditated. I think it was planned ahead of time. I think it was all set for everybody not to be there and people be in place. Whether there was a handoff or not, I think there's something.
One of the puzzles one of my puzzles and theories is that something was done on purpose, and that they expected people to say, like, with our monster, people expected him to be on time from work, just like I did, right? But often he wasn't, because he was too busy doing things next door to work. But the thing is they expected him, like, would that day to be in by 6. So everything's trying to, and then there are other neighbors that come in at certain times, and I think there's a possibility that somebody knew all these things and knew we'd all be kind of outside at certain times of the day or waiting on certain people, and therefore we would be, quote, witnesses. You get what I'm saying? Like, almost like a setup.
Right. I understand that. I understand 100% that.
I think that could be possibly. I think other times, well, that's also the time to think about it. If somebody takes Summer, you know, uh, like even a stranger, whatever, if they've been watching her or timing when all of us are coming and going. Of course, most people get home or around home anywhere between like 5 to 6 o'clock in the evening, because down there it takes you a little bit. Everybody knows it's going to take you a little bit to get there from whatever job you're working. Eastman, Hardee's, Walmart, doesn't matter, right? So you put most people getting home in Beach Creek around a certain time in the evening, and therefore, if you're going to kidnap or harm a little, you're going to have to do it within a certain amount of time. So they're trying to be in and out everybody at the same time too. So it could just be a coincidence, right? That and a predator watching and waiting to take her.
But that's usually not how predators work. Predators work on instinct. They're like sharks. They're like sharks with blood in the water when it's first instinct. They go off on their own mind. They go off on their own mind. They don't sit and wait, because most predators are afraid to get caught. And here's the fact of the matter is, a predator will just sit and wait. They'll sit and wait in disguise, but there's no way to disguise yourself on that hill. Anybody would see somebody waiting. So I say it was a planned attack. It was planned. It was planned that she was taken. That's my version of it. I mean, anybody else have any version? A predator just went in the area and sit there on that hill and watch for 2 or 3 hours. He hits play or whatever the hell and wait for a moment to go, because they'd have to know. First off, they'd have to know the terrain. They'd have to know the time schedules of everything. Everybody has the clock, Jody. If you get up at 9 o'clock in the morning, hold on a second. If you get up at 9 o'clock in the morning every day and you have to have coffee, then you have to have coffee at 9 o'clock in the morning. Everybody has what we call a repetitious timeline. Everybody has it. That's how a lot of people get caught.
No, they really don't. But here's the thing, Ernie. There's all kinds and varieties of predators, okay? But on top of that, you're discounting the fact that there are
Tell me about that, the variety. I've never heard. Okay, so variety. Tell me about that. I want to learn more about that. Please tell me, please.
all kinds of different predators that do all kinds of things for different reasons, and they all stalk and hunt in different ways. And some just do go off the spur of the moment type of shit, right? They see an opportunity. They're opportunists, more like scavengers than hunters, and others actually do hunt and prey. And they come up with plans, and that's part of what they get off on is the planning and the plotting and the watching and all of that and seeing unknown, whatever. But here's the thing, Ernie, you're discounting the fact that there are dozens and dozens of people, coming and going for this property sale that are out of state. You also have
Hold on,
two.
wait. I was counting on the fact that you would do just like you just did. You just explained to me every single type of predator about it there was. Now, my question to you is, who taught you that? How did you know?
Ernie, I'm pretty well educated.
But where'd you learn that at? Where'd you learn that at?
What do you mean? Where did I learn?
Where did you learn that at? That ain't taught in education purposes. That ain't taught like that.
Yeah,
That predatorism is not even taught. That class you pretty much just taught me a class just now. But where did you learn that at? How did you know that there were certain types of this that get off on these certain plannings of this? You see, only experience of someone of that nature could even say that back to me and reply it that way.
I've been a
Not
victim
say
of
more.
with predators, Ernie, and because I've been around enough in my lifetime, I just spent 3 decades almost with one that is so monstrous you all can't believe it. Now we're turning around and trying to use it to further abuse me and my children in Tragedy Pentville. And the mask is good, the cornbread's good, and it's not fun for us because you all have no idea how bad that was. Um, I've been around all kinds, Ernie, of monsters and predators. But on top of that, from the time I was very little, I've studied psychology for funsies, and I have educated myself uh, beyond what school
Okay,
building.
so you educate. Okay, you educate yourself through experience and through endurance. Now, here's the thing though. Here's the thing on Jodisue. Um, when you were second guessing yourself on this, dawn in the shower with Summer and all that, when you was thinking like, you know it's wrong.
It's not something I would do. But I mean, there's a lot honestly in that area that are very base, more hill-like, and they wouldn't think a second thing about it, right?
No, anybody, no. I mean, I've never seen that, and I lived in the hills. I've never seen like a grown adult taking a bath with a what was she 5, 6 at the time, 6, 5, 5 year old, 6.
Candy, you can straight kiss my whole ass about this, but I stayed and put my kids in danger, right, bitch? Shit, okay?
So
Open system is yours.
So nobody, I mean, no, nobody's trying to defame you or nothing on here. Nobody is. I don't think no natural person, I mean, would see it that way.
Do you think that's right for somebody that survived, for the kids who have survived, who actually made it out fucking alive and didn't end up a potato? Do you think somebody like Cotton Candy is cool doing that to people who are survivors and fighters?
Don't read chat. Don't read chat. Chat's gonna say whatever the hell. You know that. You've been a part of this long enough. You know how chat does. Chat's gonna be for you or against you.
But I mean, bullshit comments are fine, but the ones that terrorize the shit out of survivors are not okay, especially in a community where they say they care about people like fucking Petito and Collier and that. I mean, you can't have both.
Let me ask you a question. If you had one place to think where Summer would be at, what would you say? Off the top of your head, right off the bat.
To me, if she's still here in the area,
Why would you say she's in the area? I said anywhere.
now I'm saying if she's here and in the
Okay.
area,
Okay.
and it was maybe over on the 15th, I would say that she's somewhere, probably in the woods, probably in one of the less eyeballs, somewhere in the woods between Ben Hill and Bayleton. That would be my guess.
But you said the woods was out of the question, though.
I
On the
mean,
property, right? On the property.
yeah, on the property. She's not on those properties. She's not inside Ben Hill.
So you think somebody's done away with her?
I mean, it's obviously a possibility, Ernie. And if she's alive, I don't know where she is.
But why would automatically, say, for me, I can't give up hope on a child's life. I never could. It's hard.
I mean, I've stood here since the day and watched everybody else give up hope on her immediately before even dark and say she was dead and talk about her in past tense. And I was the only one that told all of these people just to wait to give her a chance. It's only been a couple hours, just to wait to give her a fucking chance because she might be able to get away. And we all knew she could run and fly like the wind. To give her a fucking chance. So I have not given up hope on Summer at all. I do not think that she's dead. I think there's a very good chance she's out there somewhere alive. But every day, every minute that passes, cannot be.
Okay, so you said you think she's alive right now. You think she's alive?
I think there's a good possibility.
A good possibility. So let me ask you a question. Why automatically say if she's around the area? I didn't say around the area. Where would you think she's at? Anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world right now. Where would you think she's at? Anywhere.
And there's two options. She's alive, and I don't know where the hell she's at, somewhere around the world. Or if it ended, chances are it, would have probably ended on the 15th, like others speculated before fucking dark, and I didn't take well to. And, I would say that she's somewhere, between Ben Hill and Bayleton or so. But there's other things in there you got to think that, we all kind of know and things that y'all don't, but make certain things a possibility. Oh dear. Hey, Cotton Candy, here's a newsflash. All children sometimes be brats. Wow.
What did you think about Summer Wills?
What do you mean, what do I think about her?
What did you think about her?
As in?
As in anything. Like, I mean, when I say her name, what comes to your mind? I mean, you know her, you hung out with her, right? You was like, watched her grow up. What did you think? What did you think about her? Give me your, a description of, I mean, just give me a little bit about it. Like, she was great, just go on from there. What comes to your mind when I say Summer Wills?
A lot of things, a lot of which I don't want to talk about publicly and not for public consumption. But I mean, she's a child, and she was brave and kind of a smart ass. She would honestly look. She'd give her brother a run for money. You'd hear him pick on her, and see him pick on her. And initially she'd start crying. She'd be like, "Oh, fuck this," and then she'd have all of them running from her. And
So we're talking about Summer. She would cuss and stuff at 5, 6.
she was 5. I mean,
Okay. So
6 now, but
right, 6 now. Okay, 5. That's what I thought. So she could cuss. I mean, she cussed. I didn't know that.
I mean, all of them did. I mean,
Oh, I didn't know that. Like I said, I didn't study it. I didn't know that. So she cussed and everything, and she was just like, was it like a competition with her and her brothers and stuff all the time? Like, I know growing up into the mountains like I grew up in, we'd always try to compete with each other and all that.
well, in a competition, there's brothers and sisters, man. They're just kids. They're siblings. They do what siblings do. There's no competition or anything.
Okay. So one thing you said was you can't talk about it on here. Does it break you down?
And what, this place?
No, not the place. No, not the place. You said you'd rather not say about here when I asked you about Summer. You said this is something I'd rather not talk about on here.
I mean, I don't. It's like the public. They've made her this.
But I'm asking you, not the public. I'm asking you what you thought about Summer Wills. Like, and you told me, you told me a little bit about her brothers and stuff, and sisters, her brother and everything. But you didn't say. Go ahead.
These children, they're not any of your all's goddamn business. And all the public, they stand here and they make her some figurehead and they project on her what, and they think all of these things and they make up all of these fucking fairy tales in their own head, or they put these personality traits to a 5-year-old that belong with like 30 and 40-year-olds. I mean, she was 5 and now she's 6, and she's a child that was home. That's her parents, those are her siblings. That was her life, and all the details of who Summer is and her parents and her life are all not for public fucking consumption. The personality traits these kids hold out of a dysfunctional family should not be public. There are things when I think about all the kids that break my heart, and throughout all the years did, but, not everything's sunshine and rainbows, and not everything's good or perfect. And, but these are children you're talking about. Uh, their lives, their details, their personalities, and things. All the public will do was then take it and make whatever they want to it narratives and talk about Summer and and pick it apart. And they've already picked everything around Summer apart now, and they don't deserve every piece of her or the boys or everybody else's everything.
Hold on. What do you mean every piece of her? Is that just like her whole as a body, her life? They don't deserve to know her whole life story.
And all these salacious details instead of the things that matter the most. I mean, and everything around her. I mean, you watch them from the first moment, it made me so sick. You'd open up Facebook and like searchers are still in there, and here you go and you tap Facebook, and the first thing that pops up are these pictures of this place, and there's a doctor of her in the back seat of the car and a milk jug, and they added bruises and knocked out teeth and made her lips look all these ways, and it's fucking disgusting. And it's the same thing they do with any detail of Summer of her life. They just put narrative to it, push and pull. I mean,
Everybody quit with the comment. Everybody quit with blocking everybody. Everybody has a right to say things. Let them talk. Let people talk. Because I want to hear some of these people. Because like I said, I don't know the case. I never did know the case. I was brought into it unaware and ended up to what it is. But if Jodisue, obviously, she's telling her point of view about it, and that's all you can say about it. Like I said, the last piece of missing puzzle. I think there's one missing puzzle piece left, and that's Summer Wells. That's always been that. That's to me it is. I mean, that's the way I would go about looking into things. But with Jodisue, I know, during this time, everybody's got new factors that's come in, new characters the first of the week that always came in. Hell, there was Andrew, people like that came in. Hell, I was brought in, everybody was brought in. Next thing you know, Jose's brought in. He's not with us no more, God rest his soul. But, it was just like a damn, what do you call it? A TV show or something. People was just brought in and out, pushed. Oh, they was the suspect here, they suspect there. So it came out that, was it Andy? You still with Andy, right?
Fuck no.
Oh, you're not with Andy. Okay. I didn't know.
He got married recently, Ernie.
He got married recently. What is your opinion on him? Is it possible he was involved?
I do not in any way want to talk about him, especially things that are occurring in our personal life.
Okay, I understand that. Does he carry out what he's been doing still with the new woman?
I mean, both of them are. I just don't want to talk about Ernie.
Okay, I understand, Tony. I understand. You have nightmares over it, don't you? There's too much to meet you. This is sad. I, I'm out, guys. Much respect. God bless you all. If y'all want to donate, donate. If you don't, don't. Hope y'all like the show today. Some things just don't add up. You see, guys, I can't just go off the air like that. When a horse is put into stress, there's three things that happens. Three things happens when put through stress. Jody Farr, you know what I'm talking about. The emotions kick. When it comes to a child, anger is never displayed. Anger was displayed. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Anger was displayed. You don't say the things you say and refer to as pieces. You can't do that. However, her timeline is a little different than what my timeline and what I come up with. I said before, I told my opinion about it, what I thought. I'm not saying, I'm not going to say any if and as because it ain't for me to say. It's not for me to say. I'm not law enforcement, and I can't excuse Jodisue into the things she was getting ready to say. I know what she means by saying it. I know what she was going to say, but I can't say that I can excuse her because I don't have the power of law enforcement to do that. I don't have the power to give her immunity to say some of the things she was going to say. I don't have that. None of us do. Law enforcement does. But I will say this: Jodisue, it'll haunt you the rest of your life. It will. It will. There's no, there's no clearing anything. There's no clearing anything. Say your truths. Say it to the right people. Don't say it on public. Law enforcement can give you that immunity. I'm not saying that you did anything, but it's in law enforcement's hands. I can't say too much about it. I wasn't there. None of us can. None of us have a right to. None of us have a right to. People put people on trial for things they don't even know anything about. It wasn't there. We do each and everybody that way. We do it. We automatically assume that this and that and this, and we won't. We won't have speculation of what happened to be what it is and what solves whatever case it is. It's not always going to be true like that. It's not always going to be right. Much respect. God bless you all. I hope you guys liked the show.